Amy Junction. Once again, we're back here finally in the loft. Sorry it took a little while to get a layout update once again. I've just been so busy updating things as there is a surprise coming early next year, which I can't actually say yet. Yeah, so as I said, I filmed that all in New York, so that was really cool, the Q&A. So I was going around New York. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it above in the iCard now. Right, okay, to start off with, we've got a nice new addition, which is this nice British Rail blue thumper. This is weathered and it's an absolutely stunning model, got full interior lights and will look very nice on the layout. So if I take you down, it's a really cool model. Right, okay, so going near the bridges I've got in the loft, I now have bricked up these walls as like a retaining seaside wall as a flood defence, which acts as the foundation supports for the suspension bridges. I did hoover the water as it just got really dusty and I think it will need doing again soon. And this is done with the toilet paper method. Okay, so on the Silky Sands beach section, not much has changed. That's literally all stayed the same since the last update. So one of the things I've been working on recently, especially with the loft in general, is decluttering a bit. It did have a bit too much stuff. So I've been moving stuff about, cars, removing things, just kind of changing it up a little bit to how it was. And it does look a lot better. So on this Suburban side of the layout, not much has changed, but there will be some with the TMD. So a bit of change, and we've got these prefabricated offices. I've now doubled them up as I had another one in my collection. Another thing I finally got round to doing is adding some signals. These are train tech signals, which are the sensor operated ones. And also we've got one just here. They're all sensor signals, so when the trains activate them, like I've just done it with my finger, it waits a certain amount of time and then goes back to green. And obviously this signal is for this track, and then the branch line doesn't have any signals, and it's got stop boards, as you can see just there. So a big change you'd notice since last month would be that now I've got a main line which its direction is that way, a main line which its direction is that way, and then over here, which used to be our other track, which went into one, it crossed here and then went back into two tracks for the suspension bridges. So with that, it didn't really work. So the branch line goes over to this little terminus area where I used to have some terraced houses and a few other little bits. This area looks much better. Obviously, it's got some finishing off to do. Got a nice station building, and I've got a little bit more work to do, which I hope to have. I'd like to have a nice complete layout, as you might remember from last year. So with the countryside section, that has all stayed the same, except the adaptation of the branch line. We also do have lighting in our signal box. It worked out quite well, so when you turn the lights off again, it creates a very nice effect along this section. I'm adding some more lights, but obviously this is a countryside area, so I wouldn't really have many. And I just painted the inside of the signal box black, just so the light doesn't bleed through the resin building. So putting the lights back on and moving along around the layout, we've got obviously a new area formed over here. With the canal, as I did have quite a few Network Rail vans, but I'm slowly swapping them out to British Rail vans. Don't ask why, it's just what I was bought, and it's what I liked, but now I've got into quite a prototypical way of modelling and want all the proper British Rail ones now. That's happened with Riverside as well, I've changed that. So scenery wise, not much has changed except the lighting in the buildings and the street lights along here. The only bit of scenery that has changed is we've added nice new retaining walls along here, which just create such a nicer look along this area. And also we've made this was just pure ballast, and we've added some grass and some mud and textures down just to break it up a little bit, and some variation of ballast tones which just make it look a little bit less uniform. Okay, so that's pretty much that happened with that area. Not too much has changed, just that I've took some vehicles off and decluttered. So with the lights, I'll show you what it's like with the lights out now, and just all the natural street lighting and ambient lights I put in the buildings. All this lighting is from layouts for you. It's really, really good stuff. And I definitely need to add some more lighting, I think, as this looks really nice. Moving along over to this side of the layout, not much has changed except I've got rid of a lot of vehicles and added some more prototypical ones, like this new Oxford diecast van they brought out, which is very nice for this period I'm modelling. Yeah, not much has changed except I've decluttered some vehicles, as there was quite a few on this upper raised town scene section, and all of this area is pretty much still the same. So just looking through there, I'm not sure how well you can see that. From Ten Commandments, from the Wall-E show, I got these little disabled ramps. These wouldn't necessarily be here in this period in the 1990s, late 80s of what I'm modelling, but I thought it was a nice addition. So with this one, it looks so much better now. Having weathered locos does make a difference. Literally half of my fleet, probably more actually, 80% of my fleet is now weathered. Plus also we got the 08 shunter weathered as well, which looks very nice, and literally I've only got a few locos now that aren't weathered, and I might even try them myself as I do have an airbrush, and obviously I still have all the tracks to weather, which I'm going to get round to definitely this coming. You might have noticed I finished this area of grass and waste area, and that was bare boards. So that's all done, so I've got no bare boards except the Suburban area over the far corner to do. And I've also added this Ten Commandments CCTV camera, which overwatches this little crossing we have to allow depot workers. So over here on this side of the station, we've got new retaining walls to what you saw last time. These are foam ones, which are by a German company. And having that new siding now over there does make a difference where 37401 is parked, as it just gives you some more storage space for rolling stock. So I am getting more rolling stock now, and also locos. Also, you might have noticed I had that weird matchstick construction left there for ages. Now I've finished it off and scratch built this little canopy, similar to how Everyard Junction did it on his old layout a few years ago. It's very basic. Right, so now all the platforms are edged like this. All of them are done, and it just makes so much difference and looks so much better. Whilst we're here, this actually is a figure of me, which I had scanned by someone at Alexandra Palace, the Model U people. Really good company. Right, okay, so finally, just a quick question. I've had these carriages for a while, and I've fitted KD couplings to them, if you can see just through there. I'm not sure how well you can see. They've got KD couplings now, which I think is better, but they still don't run too good. It's not my track. I'm not too sure what's causing it, as these carriages run fine. Can't speak, on all tracks. The wagons do. Everything else runs fine except these Bachmann carriages. If anyone might know if it's couplings, because sometimes they come uncoupled and then that causes them to derail. It's always something to do with the couplings normally, from what I found and what I've watched them derail. So if anyone knows, I don't know. So if any of them you do know, that might help make them run a little bit better. And I have thought I'd take them to another layout, and see if they run fine around there, and then I'll get a definite answer if it's one area of my track which is painfully under the town scene they derail, or if it's something I can change to the carriages to help it out a bit. Okay, thank you for watching today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Apologies, it has took a while for another model railway video to come out. I just wanted to keep all the New York ones in sequence and just have a bit of order to videos. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you in my next video.